Ethical Conduct Notice. This tutorial is intended solely for educational purposes and authorized penetration testing. Engaging in any form of unauthorized access or exploitation is illegal, unethical, and strictly prohibited. Always ensure you have explicit written consent before conducting any security assessments. Use your knowledge to strengthen cybersecurity and always uphold the highest standards of professional integrity. Welcome to the Web Security Bootcamp channel and our series on SQL Injection. In the last video, we introduced you to databases, what they are, where they live, and how they store data in tables. For those who haven't seen that video yet, the link is in the description. Now it's time to zoom in on how we interact with those databases using SQL, the language that drives most modern applications behind the scenes. Here, what you'll learn in this video: what SQL is, common operations used in apps, a real-world example using our online bookstore, how user input is used in dynamic SQL queries. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It's the standard way we interact with relational databases. With SQL, we can fetch data, insert new records, update existing information, and delete records. These are the core operations that power almost every modern application behind the scenes. Now let's walk through a simple example. Select from users where ID equals 1. This query is asking the database, show me everything about the user with an ID of 1. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Let's go over the 4 most common SQL operations. Select is used to retrieve data from a database. Insert adds new information, like when a user signs up. Update changes existing data, for example, editing a profile. And delete removes data from a table, like deleting a user account. These 4 commands are the building blocks of almost every app that uses a database. We'll look at specific examples in the next slides using our online bookstore. Let's bring everything together using a real-world example, our small online bookstore. These 4 tables represent the key pieces of the system: customers who place orders, orders that record each transaction, books that are being sold, and order items, which lists which books are included in each order. In the next slides, we'll explore how SQL interacts with this data. Let's start with a simple SQL query, a select statement. Select title, author from books. This one says, give me the title and author of every book in the books table. When this query runs, the database returns a list of all books with just those 2 columns, exactly what we asked for. An insert statement adds a new record to a table. Insert into customer's name, email values, Helen Ortiz, helen@example.com. Here, we're adding a new customer named Helen Ortiz. Update lets us modify existing records. Update book set price equals 18.99, where book ID equals 1003. In this case, we're changing the price of a specific book. Delete removes a record from the table. Delete from orders, where order ID equals 103. This command deletes the order with ID 103. The where clause is used to filter results. Instead of returning everything, we can tell the database, only give me books that cost less than $20. This is one of the most commonly used parts of a SQL query, and also one of the most commonly exploited. Here's how the where clause is used across different SQL commands. Insert doesn't use where because it's always creating a new row, there's nothing to filter. Update and delete, on the other hand, target existing data. That's why where is critical. It tells the database which rows to change or remove. Without it, you could accidentally affect the entire table, a mistake that's both dangerous and easy to make. In a real-world web app, things get dynamic. For example, a user might search for a book title like clean code. Behind the scenes, the app builds a SQL query using that input. In this case, it creates a command like, select all books where the title matches clean code. This works great as long as that input is safe and expected. But what if that user input isn't something expected, like a book title? What if they type this instead, single quote or 1 equals 1 double hyphen? Now the app builds a query that means, return every book in the database, no matter the title. This is called an SQL injection, and it's one of the most common and dangerous vulnerabilities in web applications. In the next video, we'll show exactly how this attack works and how to stop it. Now it's your turn. Try writing the SQL for these beginner-level tasks based on what we've covered. Select the title and price of all books that cost more than 20. Update the email address of the customer with ID 3. Delete all orders where the total is less than 5. Write your answers in the comments, and I'll check in to see how you're doing. Let's recap what you learned. You now understand what SQL is, how it's used to manage data, and how queries are built, especially with user input. You've seen how commands like select, insert, update, and delete work, and how where lets us filter and target specific data. Most importantly, you now see how web apps turn input into SQL and why that matters. In the next video, we'll dive into SQL injection attacks, how they happen, how attackers exploit queries, and how we can defend against them. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more beginner-friendly content on cybersecurity and ethical hacking. If you have any questions or suggestions, please write them in the comments. See you in the next video.